All right, I think that should be good. For today, you have read Catelyn II, Arya
Mhm.
I, and you were thinking about stopping, but something told you to keep going, and then you read Bran II. Bran
Mhm.
2 is a biggie. It's going to be difficult not wanting to immediately jump into Bran 2, but let's try to give Catelyn 2 and Arya 1 its due respect before we jump into Bran. Sound good?
I guess. I guess.
So he gets pushed out the window. No, I'm playing.
Bro, no, I was ready to type it.
All right. Catelyn 2. Catelyn and Ned are in the bedroom. We're in Catelyn's mind. What were your takeaways from that chapter?
Um. So obviously, like they talk about Ned's like decision on if he should be like the hand of the king or whatever, and Ned's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna say yes because like I don't want to do that. And Catelyn's like, no, like it's important that you do that. Like you have to. It's like for the safety of us. And the king is gonna think like you're disloyal to him or like you have some other things going on if you say no. And that's like, no, like we've known each other, we're like brothers, like he'll understand that like I don't want to do this, he'll be mad or whatever, but like it's gonna be fine. And then so they argue about that a little bit. uh and then
Let me pause you there. I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but who do you
yeah,
think's right in that disagreement? Who do you think's right, Ned or Cat?
um honestly Cat, to be honest, because like I think I understand where she's coming from. Like, if you did like say no to the king, like he's not gonna trust you as much. Or if from her point of view, like she can see that he's not gonna trust him as much. Especially because Kat like makes it a point that Ned doesn't actually like know him anymore. Like it's been like years since like seen each other and everything. So like he doesn't really know this new person. So I kind of think Kat's right.
I think you're wrong.
Really,
I think
really.
that's right. I think that they have like a brotherhood friendship that goes beyond like their current titles and positions. Could things have changed over the years? Maybe, but like maybe I'm relying too much on my own personal like experience. Like I've had friendships where I've lost contact, and then the moment you get back in touch, it's just like you
Oh
haven't met.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like hmm, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
that I always remember thinking like, nah, Ned's right, Cat's wrong.
Yeah, I just like as the king, like he could really just turn out like, switch. Like so
One
it
hundred
just
percent, yeah.
yeah. Anyway. Um
I
and then
You're trying to thought.
yeah, I know. Thanks a lot, Dad. I forgot who enters. I think okay, it's like Lewin Maester?
Oh man, you're
Meister?
killing it, Maester. Yeah, Maester Lewin.
Okay, cool.
We haven't talked about Maesters at all yet, right?
No, I didn't know what that was.
Okay, so Maesters are individuals. There's like a main city that trains Maesters, and then each, I don't know if you have to have like a certain level of like importance in your house, but the Citadel, which is the place that trains the Maesters, will assign a Maester to that house. So they're not part of the family, but they become, they spend maybe their entire adult livelihood with that house. So they are trusted counselors. They are the people that heal you when you're sick. They're the ones that help train the little kids in learning about the histories. So they're an outside person, but they become kind of part of the house over time, and they're
Mhm.
there to teach and to take care of.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Well, he comes in and he's like, I have like this, like someone like left this little box for me or whatever. And they mentioned like I don't know if this is important, but it's like something lens. It's like mirror. Hold on.
Yeah.
Lens crafters of mirror. I didn't know if that was like important, but I wrote it down just in
Is it
case.
MIR?
MYR.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think that's a city that has like magical implications.
Okay, cool. So I think the box had something to do with it. Oh, it had one of those like lens in there, and he was like, I don't know what it means. Like, I think it's like a indication that we need to see something. And then they find a little like note in there, hidden in the box, and it's drafted to Catelyn, and so only for Catelyn's eyes. So she reads it, and then I think she burns it, and she then tells Ned, she's like, "This is for my sister," and it said that the Lannisters killed John Aaron or whatever his name is, and I was like, "What? What?" And then she's like, "This, like, you have to be the hand now. Like, it's not even like, do you want to? Like, you have to be the hand now."
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be the hand, and I'll take Bran, I think the two daughters." And then she was like, and then Lewin was like, "What about Jon Snow?" And she's like, "You're taking him." I was like, I felt so bad because she clearly does not like that kid.
Not at all.
And then after like that was, or like in between that conversation, she was reminiscing on when she asked like about John and like who his mother was or something, because she, during when like Ned came back from wherever, there was a lot of talk going on about like what happened and like who, like some lady or whatever. I don't even remember her name. Wait, Lady Ashara Dane?
Ashara.
Okay.
Ashara Dane.
Yeah. And then I remember she asked him like, "Who is that lady?" And he was like, "Don't ever ask me about Jon Snow again." And he was like, "He's my son, and that's like all you need to know." And yeah, which I thought was crazy. Like, why does he not want to talk about it, for one? And I was gonna ask, like, why does Catelyn hate Jon Snow? Well, not hate, but dislike Jon Snow. And I mean, it makes sense because like that's not her son, I guess, and he looks like exactly like Ned versus all the other kids, most of all the other kids that don't look like Ned at all. But yeah. And then I think that was it. I wrote some notes down, like Ned's father was killed in the South, I think, because he mentioned something about his father like going to the South and never coming back. Let's see. Oh, the 7 Knights of Kingsguard were mentioned. And then obviously I had some characters like Sir Arthur Dane, which is the Sword of the Morning, pretty tough name,
Yeah.
who Ned killed, I think. And then there were 2 names, but I don't think they were totally important. I think it was people that just like worked at the house. Edmure and Desmond. I don't know if those names like mean anything.
I think Desmond is like just a household guard. I think
Yeah.
he's the one that ultimately tells them that Maester Lewin wants to talk to them.
Yeah.
Edmure, do they give a last name?
No, both of these don't get a last name.
Because Edmure is Catelyn's brother's name, Edmure Tully, but he's in a completely different part of the country, so I don't think they would be mentioning him here.
Okay.
Yeah, unless like she referenced like back to her childhood growing up with Edmure or something.
No, this was just, I'm pretty sure it was just like people like in the house or something. I don't really remember, but yeah.
Well, I want to spend the next 4 hours talking about Arthur Dane, Ashara Dane, and all of that, but we're not going to do that. That's just what I want to do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we should mention about that. You already kind of hinted at it. Do you think Catelyn's thoughts about Jon Snow are justified? Obviously, like her husband cheated on her, so
yeah.
What's you already kind of hinted at it. What's your final thoughts on her feelings towards him?
So I'm like confused if it's like kind of normal, because like when she was mentioning that Ned like went over and like had a kid, she's like, it's normal for these guys to just like have a bunch of like bastard sons, but it's not normal for them to like bring their sons with them like back home.
Right.
So I I mean, like, I guess it's I mean, I could see why she's mad, like, she has this, like, son that, like, she just have to take care of them, but, like, it's part of the family, and she doesn't really, like, have any connection to him whatsoever, so I can understand why she's, you know, like, upset, but also, it's not Jon Snow's fault, so, like, don't be mad at him.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, like, I can understand why she's, like, upset.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think you're on target there. Now, this is like a thing. This isn't so much of a text thing. I get kind of creeped out from Catelyn in this chapter. I don't like how I can never tell, even to today. I can't tell if Maester Lewin is being extra sneaky or if George is just writing it in this weird way. Like every phrase that Maester Lewin comes in, like the eye, it's not for you, it's actually for a cat, and
Mhm.
secret lens. It told me to look deeper, and I looked deeper, and I found the secret. I don't know. Like there's just something there that kind of creeps me out. I also don't like the fact that Cat reads this and burns it. Like you can't show your husband. Like
Well, I thought that was weird too because she was like, "Yeah, me and my sister speak in like this secret language that no one else understands but us. So then why would you have to
why
burn
burn
it?"
it?
Yeah,
Oh, just a language that two people in the whole world know, but you got to burn the message. I don't
yeah,
know.
which I thought was weird.
I truthfully, I don't think anything ever comes of that, but it still is in my mind. Whenever I think about Catelyn, here's another thing. The chapter starts off. Do you remember what they're doing when the chapter first starts?
Aren't they getting freaky, bro?
They're having sex, but if you're in her mind, you would never know that it's a sex scene because she's thinking about her childhood. She's thinking about her childhood friends. She's thinking about how warm it is in the castle. Like,
Wait, yeah, that's so true.
and then poor Ned, he's like, "All right, I'm done." And it was like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it kind of also makes me think about the fact that they weren't like in love. They didn't have like this relationship. She was supposed to marry the brother. She has to marry him. He immediately goes off to war. He cheats on her, even though, he's got this bastard baby. So I think that their marriage, a lot of it is duty. I do think that some love gets brought in over the years, but I think the foundation of their marriage is strictly duty.
Yeah, and also I made it a note that like um Ned like mentions his brother and he was like, "Yeah, I was like never supposed to have this, but it was all like what's his brother's name? Like, is it Brandon?"
Brendan, yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah, and he was like, Brendan would know what to do, and like Brendan was always like the better brother or something like that, or like the better son, and like always was made for this role. So yeah, I made that a note, but
Right. No, I think that's good to know and keep in mind. I also can't really follow along with Catelyn's logic. She really wants him to go, and then once she reads, there's a part of my mind that says, "Okay, the Lannisters killed Jon Arryn. Like, let's not go around them."
yeah, that's what Ned was saying. He was like, "Why would I want to like go there? If
Right.
they
Right.
like that's unsafe."
Right. And let's bring the kids here. I don't.
Yeah,
It just doesn't make sense. It
yeah,
doesn't make sense to me.
yeah.
Okay. Well, so what was the finality of that? What was Ned's reaction to her saying you absolutely have to go now? Does he respond? Does he give his decision?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I think he like sees the logic. He's like, yeah, okay, like I probably should go. And then that's when they start talking about like what kids to bring.
Right.
And then he actually gets mad at Catelyn when she mentions like Jon Snow and like bringing him. And
That's
he's
right.
like I was hoping that Jon can like stay here because him and Rob are really close. And she's like, no, like you're bringing him. And then he's like, oh, why do you have to be like this? And then Lewin, he's like, well, if you bring Jon Snow, like Jon Snow wanted to be part of
Night's Watch.
the Night Watch. And so he's like, oh, like I guess that can work. And so then they
Yeah.
come to the consensus that like Jon is also leaving.
Right. Right. And there's something a little bit sneaky about Lewin too that I can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah.
We later find out that Maester Lewin was with the Tully family, like was with Catelyn's family back at their castle, and then I think he comes to Winterfell. So there's something that tells me he has more ties to Tully than Stark. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything ultimately comes of it, but there's a lot in this chapter that still doesn't sit right with me. But ultimately, Ned is going. He's taking a couple kids with him, and then Catelyn then gets kind of pissed that she has to stay back. It seems like she wanted to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that too. Sorry.
No,
It's
you're
coming
good.
back to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. A lot of not inconsistencies, but just things that they're not tracking for me. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I think that's the finale of that chapter. Next one was Arya. Even though I don't think a ton happened in the Arya chapter, we really get to learn who Arya is, about her personality, and then the stark difference between her and Sansa. So
Sansa, yeah, I
yeah.
know.
So tell me your thoughts on that chapter.
I mean, like, it was like clear from the beginning. Arya is like almost the outcast compared to her sister. I think she's been bullied a little bit by like Sansa's friend. I forgot her name.
Jane Cool.
Um, yeah. And Sansa like can like stitch well, and is like knew everything before Arya came and was like born and everything. So it's like Arya doesn't have like a like set place for her, because like Sansa knows everything and knows how to do everything. I mean, I don't think Sansa is necessarily bad, but I feel bad for Arya in this case, because like she's like the loser sister. Um, uh, Arya's and Jon Snow's relationship. They seem really close. I think they're like probably the closest out of everybody. Well, I don't know like Jon Snow and Rob's relationship, but Arya obviously seems really close to Jon Snow, and like, yeah, I don't know. They have like a good relationship. Let's see. It starts off with like them stitching.
Do you know what
And
stitching
then
is?
I'm like, are they stitching like some like fabric?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When like I first like took a peek at it and it was like her stitches are off, I was thinking like she had like stitches in her face. Um anyway, I'll just go through the characters and maybe I'll like remember more stuff. So there was Septa Mordain. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, a septa I think is a little bit more about like I think they teach you the more about faith.
Oh, okay.
Here she's definitely watching over the girls to make sure that they're learning all the worldly ways of that ladies should be. But I think septas are specifically more about teaching you about faith.
Okay. There's Beth Cassell or Castle.
Cassell, yeah. We
Cassell.
learned Rory Cassell, I think, in a previous chapter, is like one of Ned's guys. So this is
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay. I thought that was gonna be Joyce Cassell's daughter, but then it said that that was Sir Roderick's daughter. Is that like who?
Truthfully, I don't know if I could pin out the family tree, the Cassell family tree that well.
Okay.
So Jory Roderick, Jory Roderick and Beth, family members. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. Jean or that one girl, Jean. Is it Jean or
Jane, yeah.
Jane? Okay. Why is it spelled with it? Okay, whatever. I don't care.
George.
Literally. Which daughter of Winterfell steward? I don't know what a steward is.
Yeah, I think they're in charge of making sure that we have enough food stock, that we have enough money for the trip.
Okay.
Like an assistant.
Yeah. Okay. Nymeria, which
Nymeria.
is Nymeria. Okay, which is Arya's wolf, and it was like named after some. I wrote it down. Warrior Queen of the Rhone.
Reinar, or
Yeah.
I think
It's
Reinar.
Rhoyne.
I think Reinar. Something like that. But essentially like an area. There's like this famous warrior princess queen. That's so obviously Arya is probably more drawn to that than Stitches or whatever. So she named her puppy after this warrior queen.
Yeah. Lady, which is Sansa's wolf, which is like dumbass name, bro. Like Lady.
That's exactly who she is. She's a lady.
Okay, this has like these don't have any information on them, but I have Lou, Donis, and I think that's I don't even know what that says. Clegane?
Clegane.
Clegane.
Okay. So yeah, we definitely learn about Clegane in I think in the Arya chapter, the one that we're in, which is probably why you're mentioning now. He is the Hound. So Sandor Clegane. He's this big, huge, gruff guy. He protects Joffrey. He's like Joffrey's like personal protector.
Okay.
Yeah, so just big, beastly warrior guy that's protecting Joffrey. Rapid.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because I was like that. I think he must have been mentioned. Arya leaves the stitching area and then she finds John, and they're watching the younger kids fight. Well,
Yeah.
it was the younger kids, and then it was Joffrey and Rob, but they didn't get to fight because it was like bro, the Lannisters seem so mean. Oh my gosh, because like Joffrey was like, I'm not gonna fight with these like little toy swords, like get some real steel in here.
Right,
And then
yeah.
Rob was like, okay, yeah, I got this. And then I forgot who it was, but
It's like the
he was
master at
like,
arms, the guy in charge.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I wrote his name down, but I don't know where. And he was like, no, like that's dangerous or whatever. Like I'm not gonna do that. And then Lannister, Joffrey was like, well, once you're like all grown, like if you're not too grown, just like pull up and we can fight for real. I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you guys suck, bro. That's crazy.
For sure. And I think Sandor Clegane, the Hound, he kind of chimed in and was like, yeah, they should use live steel, or I forget exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Trying to hype
And and then he said something like who are you to tell them they can't use, who are you to tell the prince he can't use like steel? And then the guy was like, I'm blah blah blah, something arms, and like
master at arms. So he's in
master
charge
of
of training.
arms. Yeah.
Did they give you a physical description of Sandor Clegane yet?
If they did, I didn't write it down.
Okay.
I don't remember them.
Okay. Yeah, they'll bring it up more later.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was it, to be honest. And then, Arya goes back and then to her room, and her mother and what's her name? Septa Mordain is in her room, and she's like, I'm cooked. That was it.
Right. So I think a lot of this was like personality building. We got to see Arya's personality. We got to see Sansa's. We got to see more of Joffrey. We also get a peek at Arya's relationship with Jon. So often Jon is the outcast. You earlier described Arya as being a little bit of an outcast. So you can see that they kind of bond over that.
And they both look like Ned too.
Right.
And Arya was like, I was scared I was like a bastard too. And she went to Jon. She was like, am I one of you? And I was like, no, bro. Like, you're not. It's okay.
Right. I've got a long face. Am I a bastard? And then the ignorance of asking a bastard child.
Bro, I know. Like, and I can just like imagine he's like,
right.
No, you're not one of me.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Cool. All right. Let's get into it. Bran.
Let me open up the book for real. This makes me so sad. Like, he's obviously injured for real. And okay, let's just start from the beginning. Let me think. So he knows that he's going to be leaving. So he was going to just like start saying goodbye, because I think Ned told him like, hey, just start saying your goodbyes. But then I think either he couldn't find people, or he just like started getting really sad, so he just like never went through with saying his goodbyes. But he was still really excited to go. He said that like he was going to be living in the Red Castle, which I'm guessing that's like he called it the Red Castle, which is like the first castle the Dragon Lords built.
So yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't have too much to add, but yeah, King's Landing is the capital city. They're going there. It has got a lot of historical importance. Bran, I think they've hinted at it. He's very not obsessed, but he loves the idea of like knights and the historical stories, and so going there excites him for that for sure.
Yeah. He mentions like the 7 Kings guards, and like he names all of them. I didn't write their names down because it was a lot, and I didn't know if they were important, but I underlined them all. I think, I don't know.
Well, I'll just kind of briefly talk about that. So every king has 7 elite knights that they appoint to the Kingsguard. once you get appointed to the Kingsguard, that's like your duty for life.
Hmm.
You can't inherit land, you can't get married. Your life is solely to protect the king. So it's a high honor, but it's also a big sacrifice.
Hmm.
So the people that get appointed, that they become famous throughout, history. Some more so than others. The ones that they named, I couldn't tell you. You have already gone over a few, like, and some have previously died. Obviously, when some died, they appoint new ones. When new kings, they appoint new ones. So it's this rolling tradition that every king has his 7 Kingsguard.
Yeah. And then he says that Jaime Lannister is a Kingsguard, but Rob said he shouldn't count. And I was like, I wonder why he thinks he shouldn't count. Is that like something serious, or is this Rob just being like he shouldn't count just because?
Okay.
Um, yeah. I think that was it about the Kingsguard. Again, I underlined a bunch of it, but I didn't know like how important each like Kingsguard was, because if it was like something from like years ago, then I was like, I'm not gonna
Right,
write it
right.
down.
Yeah. Some of them do come back into the story with significant events, but we can get more into it when we actually
That
talk
comes
about
up.
those events. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think at the moment, Bran is like in the woods. He mentions like the heart tree. I don't know if that had too much importance, but I wrote it down. And he was like creeped out that like all the trees had faces on them and like their branches or their leaves look like hands. And then he starts to climb. I think he has his puppy with him. He doesn't name it yet. He doesn't have a name for it yet. Because he was like, I don't know what to name it. And then he's like, he mentioned all the names. Uh, what was the name of? I think like the younger brother had. What was his name?
Do you want me to just tell you?
No, I have it in here. I have it in here.
It's worse
Shaggy
than,
Dog.
I was going to say, it's worse than census.
Yeah, Shaggy Dog. Like
I
what?
know that is a 3-year-old name.
Yeah. And then Grey Wind was Rob's wolf. And
Mhm.
then Bran was like, man, I wish I thought of Ghost before Jon Snow did, because like Ghost is tough, even though my dog's not like white or anything.
Right,
But
right.
so then he's climbing, he has his little dog with him, and he just mentions how much he loves climbing and how much he like it's so freeing and everything. And he, his dad was saying that he didn't know if he learned how to climb or walk, like for like which one he learned first, because he's been climbing since he was like super young and everything. And um so then he's climbing, and he I forgot what it's called. I wrote it down, give me a second. The first keep, it's like an abandoned, I want to say
So,
watchtower, but I don't know.
yeah, just there's nothing too special about the description other than it's a tower. The first keep lets you know that when Winterfell was first built, this was like the initial place, and then as it grew, they built the other keeps, and it grew and grew. And since it grew into newer places, they've since abandoned this tower.
Mhm. Okay. So he's climbing near that, and he hears voices. And actually, I'm proud of myself because like the first like few like lines of their thing, I already knew. I already knew who it was. I already
Okay,
knew who it
all right,
was.
all right.
Because I forgot what she said or he said, but I already knew it was the queen, right? And watch me be wrong, but it's the queen and
It was
and
actually Catelyn. No, but
and her brother, the night one, right?
yeah, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. And so he hears them, and he hears them talking about how uh like the queen says, oh, you should be the second or the hand, the
Mhm.
king's hand, and blah 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 blah. Like him coming over here is not good. It's like unsafe for us. I think that's what she said. Um I wish I like wrote down more about like their conversation, but basically they don't like Ned coming over, and they think it's like a bad idea, and they think he may find out some things about John Aaron, I think. Um
So John Aaron was the hand of the king. So that's why
mhm,
she's saying you should be the new hand of the king. Lysa Tully's letter to Cat in that secret code language is saying that the
mhm,
Lannisters killed John Aaron.
mhm,
There's
mhm, mhm.
so so you're starting to see all the pieces.
Yeah. Uh I mean, there wasn't too much I marked about this conversation, but obviously it was bad, and I knew they're rats. And then so Bran is like trying to get closer and closer to hear better and see who it is. So he's hanging off this like gargoyle, I think, with
Yeah.
his legs. And bro, he looks down and he's watching them have sex.
Right.
And he's like they're yeah. He's like they're wrestling, but they're like naked. So I don't really know what's going on. He's like, I hear wet noises. So I think they're kissing. And so he's watching that for a little bit, and then the queen opens her eyes, and so she sees Bran, and she screams, blah blah blah, blah, and then Bran gets startled, so he slips, I think, and he grabs onto the ledge of the tower thing. I think he grabs onto some ledge,
Right.
and so then they come out, and they're like, the Jaime's like, grab my hand, and they pull him up, and then they ask him like, how old are you, kid? I'm 7. And then he's like, you're lucky I love you. And then pushes to the queen, and then pushes Bran, and then pushes Bran. Oh my gosh. I was not ready. Like literally in all caps at the end, I have Bran was pushed. Because I was not expecting him to be pushed.
Yeah. The things I do for love is like the phrase that he said.
Your sister is crazy. Like you're weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was how that ended. And I was literally gonna read more too, because I was like, I need to know how Bran is. And I'm not gonna lie, I did peek at the other one, which is, I forgot what his name is. This is the dwarf brother.
Tyrion.
So I don't know obviously much, but Bran is like hospitalized. So we'll see how he is.
Man, yeah, that's definitely the first major twist. Because when we find out that Jon Arryn was killed, we don't have any emotional ties to Jon Arryn. That the letter's kind of big, like, okay, the Lannisters killed him, so the queen killed the Hand's King. That's definitely some political intrigue, or at least her family is the claim. But this one, the fact that Bran is somebody that like we know about his hopes and dreams and his personality, and
and we started with him too. Like after the
first chapter,
he was the first guy. Like that is so sad.
Right.
Just to go through the people that were mentioned that I actually made note of. Sir Boros, which is one of the King's Guards. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, I think you
Boros.
I'm drawing a blank. There's another like older one that let me jump over here. No, sorry.
Was a bald man with a jowly face.
Oh, Slint. No, that's Janice Slint.
Two of the kings tried to come with King Robert. Bran had watched them with fascination, never quite daring to speak to them. Sir Boros, maybe I'm saying it wrong, I don't know, was a bald man with a jolly face, and Sir Meryn. I don't know, it just says Sir Meryn, had droopy eyes and a beard the color of rust.
So I think the takeaway is like not the most impressive figures. They're not the strapping, 6'4", barrel chested knight. It's like these older guys with droopy faces, and
because
I think that's the
takeaway. Because after that, he was like, Jaime Lannister looks more like a knight, and blah 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 blah. So
right.
Sir Barristan Selmy.
That's who I thought you were saying, and I was trying to blank on his name.
Okay.
What did they say about him?
Barristan the Bold, Lord Commander of the King's Guard. That's all I wrote down. I don't really know much else.
He's like the leader for sure.
Oh, I think yeah. Grey Wind, we already saw Shaggy Dog. Stannis, which is Robert Baratheon brother.
Baratheon. Important figure for sure.
Hello.
What did they say anything about him?
No, I think this was in the conversation with the queen and her brother, because she was. I don't remember why she mentioned his brothers, but she mentioned Stannis and then Renly.
So the three brothers, Robert is the oldest, Stannis is the middle, and then Renly's the younger one. We'll definitely learn more about their personalities. I think the queen mentioned that Stannis left that he went to Dragonstone. So
Okay. I don't
yeah.
remember, to be honest, but and then last one was Littlefinger. I have no idea who that is.
He's within the council, so he is a quasi leader within. He's in the inner circle of the king.
Okay.
I think at this point he handles the money, so he's in charge of the treasurer. Essentially. I also think that Catelyn mentioned him in her opening scene in chapter 2
Did she?
when poor Ned is loving his wife, and her mind is thinking about her childhood. I think she actually thinks about, she might have called him Peter Baelish. So Peter Baelish was a childhood friend of Catelyn.
Okay.
He's now known as Littlefinger, although people still call him Peter. But Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, he was a childhood friend of Catelyn. He is now in the inner circle with the king.
All right. Okay. That was it for the characters. Yeah, I'm so sad because like definitely Bran is like hurt and he's not gonna be the same, and that means he probably can't climb anymore. And he was like so like he loves climbing.
I know.
He loves climbing.
So
sad.
So is it safe to say you think he's still alive?
If he's not alive, I'm gonna be upset. I like in my head, I'm like, I can't imagine he's gonna kill someone off like this. Like, no way he's gonna kill a 7-year-old off. But also, like, I haven't read any of these books, so like, what if he's like that? Like, what if he just like kills people off like that? I want to say he's alive. I'm gonna hold out hope.
Okay, all right.
The last time I held out hope was for Will in the prologue, and that dude is definitely dead. So.
They actually showed you him dying. You're like,
but like. You never know. You never know. It didn't say he stopped breathing yet.
Yeah, maybe the undead zombie ice monster let go of him. Maybe.
Exactly. Maybe he stabbed him. Like, you never know.
All right. So you think Bran's alive? You think that he's not going to be physically okay because you said he won't be able to climb?
Yeah, I don't know how far he fell, but I can't imagine he's going to be like normal after that. So
what about like mentally? Do you think he'll be altered?
That's gonna make me sad if that's the case. That's another possibility. Like, again, falling from that high, which I'm assuming is high, there's no way you're coming out like completely normal. He might have like, maybe it's just memory loss. Maybe he'll just like forget how he fell, which would suck because then he can't like tell anybody what happened. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's just memory loss.
Okay. All right. So that's Bran. John's got a pivotal moment coming up. They said that he wants to go to the wall. What do you foresee happening to Jon here soon?
It seemed like they agreed that he can go to the wall, even though he's like super young. I guess that's what he's doing. I think he'll be happy that he's going because that's what he wanted anyway. But I bet when he gets there, he's gonna be like, man, this like kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. I think he'll still like be happy that he's on the wall, but obviously he's sacrificing a lot, and he'll probably recognize that he's sacrificed a lot, and then he's gonna be like, man, miss my old life. But that's what I see so far.
Cool. Arya, Sansa traveling with Ned north. Not sure you have a lot to predict there. Maybe, I guess the first question is, I said north, I meant south. Do they go south with Ned? If they go, how do they fit in to their new surroundings?
I can't see them not going. I don't really know why they wouldn't go. So I'm assuming they will go. As for fitting in, I think Sansa will fit in just fine because, the girls were like gossiping, like, oh, you're gonna marry Joffrey and blah 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 blah. And Arya is like obviously the outcast. So I don't really know how she'd fit in, but I also think that I feel like she'll find a clique somewhere there. There's it's a different area, so the chances of her finding new people that she can have a relationship with is higher. So hopefully she can find some friends.
Coming from the person that went to 3 different high schools,
yeah.
You might know a little bit about bouncing around and finding.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Sansa and Joffrey? We know a little bit about Sansa. We know a little bit about Joffrey. How's their marriage going to work?
Joffrey seems like he's like so annoying. Oh my gosh. I did not like him. Um I mean, Arya mentions that Sansa doesn't know like anything about like running a house. So she said like she hopes Joffrey has like some like people to like run the house because Sansa can't do it. Um I mean, they're really young, so I don't really know. But I don't think they're gonna be a good match, not gonna lie. Like Joffrey just doesn't I just don't like him, so I just can't see Sansa with him.
Fair.
But yeah.
All right. Catelyn staying back. She's staying back with Brandon, who's obviously, we don't know. Rickon, the little baby, doesn't have her two daughters, doesn't have her husband. What does Catelyn's immediate future look like?
I think she's gonna be stressed for sure, but she also has the Maester Lewin, or however you say that.
Yep.
So she'll have some help. I mean, Ned was adamant that he trusted Lewin like his own family, so I'm assuming Lewin is like trustworthy in that sense that like he'll keep the house running as much as he can. Uh I also think she'll be out of her depth though. I mean, she has to like teach Rob what it means to be like a king or a lord or whatever.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention him. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that'll be a little frustrating for her. And now with Bran hurt, I don't know. Like I don't know.
Did they mention why Rob's staying back? Because it makes sense that Brandon now has to stay, Bran. That Rickon is just too little. He's bringing the older girls up to court so that they can start learning about, like, how to be a lady. Did they mention why Rob wasn't coming up? Because there's a part that makes sense. Like, hey, he needs to come see the king and, see how somebody rules.
I thought Ned said something like he's gonna be the next like lord, so he has to like stay there. I don't know. Like that's
You're
all I
correct.
remember.
You're correct. And that is the most, like, there's this phrase that he said, there always needs to be a Stark in Winterfell or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
People try to figure out what that means, if anything. But I think the more logical on the surface explanation is exactly what you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Ned traveling up with his two daughters, going back to, be with his best friend that he hasn't seen in 10 years to be the hand of the king. We know a little bit about the king. He doesn't seem like the most, on it type king. So it's probably safe to say that a lot of it will fall to Ned.
Bro, yeah. Because I think like Robert said that he's like, if you're my hand, like I can low key just lay back and you can do the work.
Right.
Which, if I was Ned, like that's what you're using to convince me to be your hand. Like what?
Right.
No, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So definitely, I think it's gonna fall a lot on Ned, which sucks because Ned doesn't already like want to do this, so he's just gonna be miserable. But yeah.
All right. Lannisters. Let's talk about Jaime and Cersei. They just pushed a kid. Well, Jaime pushed it. What does their future look like?
I hope they die, bro. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they died, but also I don't really know how that would look like. I hope, oh my gosh, I hope Bran remembers. Bran needs to remember. He needs to wake up. He needs to lock in so he can say something. But also, like, will they believe him? I mean, they might, but I don't really know how that works. Like, does he need like evidence? Well, is the evidence is he got pushed? I mean, that is the evidence. But as for their future, I can see them like still keeping their secret for a while. So as of right now, I don't think anything will change. They'll probably like all go back to the south. I think south, right? Is it south? Yeah, and be living. That's all I got.
All right. Lastly, King Robert.
I mean, the way they were talking, the Lannisters were talking about Robert, I I don't think they want him dead, but also like if they like, I wouldn't be surprised if he died either.
Mm.
Like they clearly don't like him. So if he died, I wouldn't be surprised. But then like, what does that even mean? Like, who becomes the king then? Is it the Hand?
Oh man, what a great question. So I think feudalism is the name of the, not law, but essentially the society norm. I'm going to probably mess that up a little bit, but essentially there's rules in place, but sometimes it gets gray. And I will say that question, what you just asked, who then becomes king, is one of the top 3 questions in the entire series, because there's like the obvious right answer, but then there's the true answer. So I think you're asking what the obvious right answer is. The obvious right answer is King Robert's son. He is the next in line for succession. But now, is he old enough? Is somebody else? Sometimes if you have like a little baby that's now the king, the parent is, I think, the regent until the king becomes of age. So there's a lot of rules, but on the surface, the correct answer is the son. The king's son becomes the next king.
I don't remember his. Wait, who's his son? I can't remember. It's not Joffrey is like the Lannister though, right? Like that's not like. Is that would that be the king? Wait,
What's Joffrey's last name?
I swear it was. I have to look. I don't remember.
Joffrey Baratheon.
Oh my god! Damn it!
Joffrey Baratheon.
He was a Lannister. No, I think I got that mixed up because he has like
Go ahead.
he has like the like on his like arms or whatever it's called. He has the symbol of the Lannisters and the symbol of the Baratheons or whatever. And
Right.
I remember I forgot who it was. It was either Arya or John. She was like, why does he have both? Like he holds them at the same place, even though, you know, like the king should be higher than like the mom, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
In this society, we don't, whenever we think of Robb, he's Robb Stark. He's a direwolf. We don't think of him as like Robb Tully, the mom's name.
Yeah.
You know, Arya Stark, Sansa Stark. Catelyn was a Tully. She became Catelyn Stark when she got married. You know, it's the whole patriarchal type society that they are following. So it is noteworthy, at least for John, to say, why is he putting Lannister as equal to the Baratheon? So it's definitely like good that you noticed that. But, you know, he is Joffrey Baratheon. He would be, the, you know, next in line.
Like that makes me wonder, like his mom, like the queen, maybe she has like some like control over like what he thinks. Like maybe she's like, you know, spewing like, you know, this and this and this. And then if Robert dies, like then he becomes king, and then like the queen can just like do whatever. She can be like, hey, you know what, you should say this, this, and this. And then, you know, Joffrey's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. And then he just like spews what she says.
Yeah.
That would suck.
But King Robert's alive, so we don't have to worry about any of that.
It's the way you say that he's gonna die. He's gonna die. Gosh darn it. Well, that's unfortunate.
We don't know that.
I literally do.
I gotta turn the fan on.
Are you serious? Oh my God. Okay, well, what chapter does he die, guys?
I will say, to my credit, you predicted it.
That's true. No, like
before I did anything, you predicted it. I'm just going off of your predictions.
Right.
Okay. All right.
That's crazy.
What's the next chapter?
Tyrion. Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah, Tyrion. And then we've already had a Tyrion. No, we haven't had a Tyrion chapter.
No, this is the first one. Hold on, I want to see what's.
So the last time we've seen Tyrion, he was talking to Jon outside of the big banquet.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the next chapter after that?
John.
Okay. Obviously, he's planning on going to the wall. And then one more chapter.
Daenerys. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, my queen.
So we left off with her. She found out she's essentially betrothed to the big warrior guy, Drogo. She's being sold off so that her brother can get an army to come back and take his rightful crown.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that'll be a good way to end each episode. Do predictions and then kind of look forward to the next few chapters and get caught up with where those characters left off at.
Yeah.
Cool. Any final words?
Bran better be okay. That's all I gotta say.
And all hail King Robert.